What is up? Miller Sports Talk. Let's get into it. Just wanted to get in here and talk about the Astros a little bit. As an Astros fan, uh, I know the camera is super zoomed in. Sick. I love it. The Astros are bad. They are, I guess, tied for the worst record in the league with the Angels. And I think there's a white elephant in the room, if you want to call it that, that no one wants to talk about. And that's a rebuild. That's right. I'm using the word rebuild when talking about the Houston Astros. They have been on a downward projection for a few years now. Now, what's tough about that statement is they're coming down from a point that not many franchises ever reach. What is it? 7, 8 ALCSs in a row, whatever it was, several World Series made, several championships won, great players, pretty good drafting, scandal, all the things. And so when you say that they're on a downward decline or just a decline, that looks a bit different for a team like the Astros because of how high they were in standings, in stats, in players, in farm rankings, in players coming up, like Jeremy Pena as an example. Great rookie season, World Series MVP, those kinds of things. That's like, oh wow, this is literally a never-ending cycle, and the Astros are going to be good forever. And so, I think the downward spiral has taken some time to fully form, and now that they're at this point in this season, with this record, lots of injuries too, where do you go from here? And here's an interesting question. Injuries have been a problem for this team for a few years now. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, you could blame injuries for why a team is failing. I think that's pretty valid. But when it's kind of what your organization is known for, at least as a fan that follows them pretty closely, like so many pitchers get injured, and now all these hitters are getting injured, and whether it's bad luck or whatever you want to call it, something in that area has to change. I think that they changed most of their medical staff this year. That's great. Hasn't helped much. Is it strength and conditioning? I don't know. Player wise, we traded back and got Carlos Correa. I think he's a great clubhouse leader. That's awesome. He's injured. He's aging. Altuve is aging. Hunter Brown is a beast. Jordan Alvarez is a beast. A beast. We have a lot of young players who are maybe kind of talented. Cam Smith, Bryce Matthews, just to name two. Um, we're just in a very interesting position, and I think that the franchise just needs to make a choice. And here's what I think are the two paths that this team could, and maybe in my opinion, should follow. The first path is this. You say, okay, we have an aging Altuve, an aging Correa. We have Paredes. We have Cam Smith. We have Jeremy Pena. We have Altuve. We have Diaz. All of those guys are kind of like your current core of players that you would say, okay, while these guys are here, some of them are in their mid-20s, like Paredes, Pena is still pretty young, Brown still pretty young, Alvarez still pretty young. Let's try to surround them with the best players possible. Now, at this point, I don't know, what the trade value of Cam Smith is or of Bryce Matthews is or whatever. I know that our farm system is pretty depleted currently, unfortunately, just from years, I guess, of trying to go make that trade to win. But if you go down that path, you probably start to move some of those guys for MLB level talent. But the question is, what can you get for those guys? you know, would a team give you a B plus, A minus quality starter in the major leagues at a certain position? I know at the beginning of this year, there was talks on trading Isaac Paredes because the infield depth was too much. Now, I'm glad we didn't because of all of the injuries that we've experienced this year, but you have that path, and if we go that direction, it's like your window can't stay open forever as much as Jim Crane wants it to, and so, yes, if we didn't have any injuries, I think that we'd be having a better season. I think that's maybe even factual. But what was this team's ceiling going to be? And so the question becomes, okay, if we shift our mindset and go, maybe the window won't always be open, but at least until we play out Alvarez's contract, because Lord knows Jim Crane may not sign him back. How can we maximize this team while we have the best hitter in baseball? I'll say it. I think when he's on, he's the best hitter in baseball. Get mad at me. If that means the window is 2 or 3 more years, 2 years, do you think that's worth it? Being like, "Okay, let's freaking go for it. Let's try and win 2 more World Series. Let's try and make 2 more deep playoff pushes. Let's push all of our chips in, deplete the farm system, whatever. We're gonna put out the best major league team that we can the next 2, 3 years till we have Gordon Alvarez, one of the best hitters in baseball. Then after that, we'll tear it down. Maybe we trade Alvarez, trade somebody else, because here's the biggest linchpin when it comes to the Astros. They've lost a lot of players and gotten nothing back for them. I mean, one of the only players that we traded and got something for was Kyle Tucker. And I mean, we got Isaac Paredes and Cam Smith, who are both producing at least at the major league level. And look, that buddy left the Cubs and he's on the Dodgers. Astros win that trade, period. He was kind of in Chicago anyway, whatever. That can happen when you're like, okay, we're going to lose him. We're not going to sign him. Let's move him. Let's get something back, whatever. That's kind of the rebuild path. So, anyway, the first path that we're discussing is kind of that chips all in, maximize the MLB roster while Alvarez is still on the team, and then think about things down the road. The other option is this, and this may be what I lean towards. I think this team needs some shakeup. I think this franchise, this organization needs some change. There's just been this lull the past few years of, man, we sense it. We're not as good as we used to be. I think we know that. I think fans recognize that. And so what does that look like? I think Altuve is an Astro for life. I think I would love it if Hunter Brown was an Astro for life, and I think I would love it if Yordan Alvarez was an Astro for life. But anybody else on the roster, I'm like, okay, let's go find somebody else. Let's go mix some things up. Let's go try to get maybe 2 or 3 pieces that in maybe 3 years are MLB ready and would make this team better then. Let's break this down. Let's lock up Alvarez for many years to come. Let's lock up Brown for many years to come. And let's lock up Pena for many years to come. Okay, there's your new core of players who are still all relatively young and are probably going to produce for many years to come. If you lock them up for 5, 6, 7 plus years, which I think is realistic, and if we're going to spend a little bit of money, then you go, okay, let's do a mini rebuild. Let's trade away guys like Yanir Diaz or a Jake Myers or something that some players that I think would add immediate value to a contending team that's making a playoff push now. Because here's the thing, sometimes the market is a selling market, which just means this: hey, we're putting up Jake Myers, we're putting up Yanir Diaz, and based on how things play out that season, they could be best of market at that position at the trade deadline, and a team that's making a playoff push that needs that position extremely badly, whatever, very, very badly to make that push they want to make. Maybe they overpay. Maybe they give you 2 top 100 prospects, a pitcher and a player in the field, and it's like, "Oh my goodness, we just flipped Yainer Diaz for 2 top 100 prospects or Jake Myers for 2 top 100 prospects." You think I'm crazy, but that's how desperate some teams are to maximize their winning potential, and then what you do is, okay, we get 2 top 100 guys, maybe let's just say this, let's just say we get 3 top 100 guys and 2 or 1 guy that's, like, on the fringe of that, and you really, really believe in those guys. Okay, our core is locked up. These guys in 3 years are gonna be MLB ready. Then you go, "Okay, we may be mid or average for the next 2 or 3 years, but we have our core locked up, and we have these young guys coming up in our system." And then all of a sudden, hope to be dramatic here, hope begins to arise in your organization because you've done something different. You've actually shifted things up a little bit, and you have some young, promising talent in a few years that'll be ready to meet your current core in your roster and then go from there. That's probably easier said than done. I know that a lot of owners are maybe conservative, don't like to shift things up too bad because there's player morale at stake, there's fan morale at stake, there's manager morale at stake, there's chemistry at stake. This isn't just like a video game. But I think if I'm the Astros, that's what I do. I think I lock up my core. I lock up Alvarez, Pena, Brown, and Paredes, 4 players, lock them up. And at the deadline, I'm like, okay, do you want Diaz? Cam Smith, do you think he has value for your team? Uh, do you look at yourself in the mirror and go, okay, who needs a closer? Josh Hader. Like, if Josh Hader comes back and he's one of the best closers in baseball, do you go, okay, we're really bad right now. We're not going to make a push for the postseason this season. Do we try to trade Josh Hader and in a maybe a pretty mid-range way, replenish some of our farm system and give us some hope there? Those are all things that I think I would appreciate it if the Astros were at least thinking about that. That may sound crazy, but it's like, I think to be a great organization, you have to think outside the box, and you have to really look at it and go, okay, what can we do that no organization would usually do to get ourselves out of this lull that we're in? Now, I know I have no money invested into this organization. I don't own the team. And so there's risk involved there. It could not work. I think when there's, millions of dollar at stake, I, I may be a bit more shy to make some of these changes or say these things if I was actually in that position to make those decisions. But just from the outside looking in, I just think something needs to change. And I think I would kind of go the route of the mini rebuild. To do that, you need your core to buy in. You would need Pena, Alvarez, Brown, Paredes to buy into kind of that rebuild philosophy for now, and then just ensure them that, hey, we're going to give you the bag right now. We're going to trade some guys to save some money. We're going to get some more young guys up in here, and then we're going to be good in years to come. They have to be down for that because you can't get 2 seasons into this and then Alvarez is like, "Hey guys, I'm out. This sucks. Trade me now." Because it happens way too often. So that's just kind of my Astros rant. Episode 1, Miller talk. That's all I got. Peace.